So I wrote this book, and then something funny happened. I was giving a seminar at U of M, and this is a seminar that's set up where they pick somebody to speak who's written something, an article or book, and then they pick other academics from other parts of the university to critique what you talk about in your speech, who read the book. They'll actually read a whole book just so that they can comment on the book and on your work. And they picked a psychologist, a cognitive psychologist, who was Asian, an Asian woman who studied Asian American differences. At the first, though, I was wondering, why would they pick a psychologist to read my book? She won't know anything about lean. She doesn't know anything about Toyota. What could she possibly say? And they picked someone else to also comment on it. But Fiona Lee, this Asian woman, young assistant professor, she said what she found interesting in the Toyota Way was the fact that American companies were having trouble doing it. They were having trouble learning from Toyota. And I had a lot of examples of that to illustrate that it isn't easy and it isn't natural for most companies. And she said, I think I know why. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, this academic, young academic with almost no real-world experience is going to tell me something useful about why these American manufacturers can't adopt the Toyota Way or learn from lean. And she said, and she describes this experiment, which sounded even more crazy, which is she has a carpet. This is what she showed. This is her slide. Imagine this grid, and in each of these cells, there's either a buzzer or not a buzzer, and you touch it by stepping on it. If you step on a buzzer, it buzzes, and a light goes on. And if there's no buzzer there, nothing happens. And then she puts a carpet over it, so you don't know where the cells are that are live. And then she asks you, you're at one side of the carpet, and she asks you to get to the other side. That's the experiment. And what she finds is that there was a very strong Asian Western difference. And she tried Koreans and Chinese and Japanese and Americans and Germans, and they were all students at the University of Michigan. What she discovered was that the Americans would take a step and nothing happened, feel good. Take another step, a buzzer goes off. Then they try to analyze what happened and why and what the pattern was. And then they'd take another step, another buzzer, and then they'd stop and they'd think some more. And they'd go more and more slowly. And she said that some of the people got to the point where they'd be halfway across the carpet and they literally would be frozen and wouldn't be willing to take another step because they couldn't figure out the pattern. And they apparently hated the uncertainty. And then she said what the Asians would do is they would look at it and they would just walk across. And then they'd look back and then they'd walk back and they'd do it again, and now they knew where to walk. And her conclusion was that Americans are not comfortable with uncertainty, that they want to know. And she said that's what I think the problem is with the Americans who are trying to learn from Toyota, is that the Toyota system is based on dealing with uncertainty, trying things. And the Americans want to know. They want to plan. They want a process they could follow that will guarantee they will get to the destination. So anyway, by the end, I'm blown away by this, because suddenly I realized this woman's making sense. She's talking about buzzers and carpets, and this actually makes sense. It was consistent with the Toyota message of learning by trying in an uncertain world. And nobody in Toyota ever said to me, what the Toyota Way is about is learning by trying in an uncertain world. But that's what they're doing.